The day anxiety didn't when Aman woke before the alarm. Not because he was ready, because his chest was tight again. The familiar weight, that invisible pressure that greeted him every morning. The kind that makes the room feel smaller. He stared at the ceiling, heart pounding. Not again, he thought. He reached for his phone, but stopped. Something inside whispered, "Try something different." Instead of scrolling, he sat up slowly, planted both feet on the floor, closed his eyes, took one deep breath, then another. For the first time, he noticed the sound of his own breathing, slow, controlled, and real. Else knew. No one had taught him this. No therapist was guiding him. No motivational video played in the background. It was just him, alone with his fear, and choosing not to run from it. He placed a hand on his chest and whispered, "I'm okay." 'Cause he believed it, but because he wanted to. That morning, Aman didn't cure his anxiety, but he faced it, sat with it, breathed through it, and that was enough. It was the day he realized that peace doesn't always come with loud victories. It often comes in quiet defiance. From that day forward, he made a silent promise to himself. Every morning, I will fight for my mind. Asterisk. Chapter 2. The 10-minute recite a man didn't have time. At least, that's what he told himself. Every morning began falling apart. Deadlines missed. Motivation gone. Mind fog thicker than ever. One day, he read about a 10-minute morning reset. It sounded too simple to work, but desperation will make you try anything. He set a timer. The first 2 minutes. Silence. No phone, no talking, just breathing. The next 3. Journaling whatever came to mind, even if it didn't make sense. The final 5. Light stretching and a quiet walk to the window. That's it. 10 minutes. He felt different. Not fixed. Not ecstatic. But grounded. His heart wasn't racing. His mind wasn't spinning. For the first time in weeks, he felt like he could function. He repeated it the next day and the next. It became a rhythm, a personal ritual. Over time, that tiny commitment gave him massive control. He wasn't perfect. He didn't wake up energized. But now, he knew how to reset his mental state before chaos could take over. 10 minutes. That's all it took to reclaim his morning's and, eventually, his peace. Asterisk. Chapter 3. The battle of the first thought. Most people think the day begins when the alarm rings. But Aman knew better. The day begins with your first thought. His used to be, "I can't do this." And like poison, that thought seeped into everything: his actions, posture, tone, energy. One sentence set his entire emotional tone. One morning, he decided to fight back. As soon as he opened his eyes, he whispered, "I am calm." I am in control. Today is mine. It felt awkward, forced, but the thought was like a shield, and, for once, he wasn't defenseless. Over time, Aman discovered that the first thought you choose is like choosing your weapon for the day. Negative thoughts aren't always avoidable, but they're replaceable. And replacement begins with repetition. He wrote his morning mantra on a sticky note above his bed. Speak like you love yourself. He began programming his subconscious before his phone, before the stress, before the world. And strangely, the world started responding differently. Because he had. Chapter 4. The mirror doesn't lie, but it can heal. Every morning, the mirror reflected fatigue, frustration, and failure. Aman had grown used to it until one morning he stared at his reflection longer than usual. His eyes looked tired, his shoulders heavy, and behind that expression he saw a boy trying to be strong. Something cracked inside him. He placed his hand on the mirror. "You're still here," he said softly, "and that means you haven't given up." From that moment, mirror talk became part of his healing. He stopped judging his reflection and started speaking into it. You are enough. You are recovering. You are not your past. Every day, it got a little easier. The mirror didn't light, still showed the pain. But now, it also showed progress. The words became stronger. So did he. Chapter 5. The splash that woke his soul. Before, Amon's mornings were foggy, like swimming in mental quicksand. But one morning, he walked straight to the sink, filled his hands with ice-cold water, and splashed his face. Instant clarity. Not just from the shock, but the presence it required. The cold demanded attention. It pulled him into the now. He closed his eyes and did it again. This time with intention, visualizing yesterday's anxiety, washing away what was once a mundane act became a mindful ritual. He started calling it his wake-up splash, not for the skin, but for the soul. Paired with a deep breath and a stretch, it reset his nervous system better than caffeine ever could. Chapter 6. The sound that silenced his thoughts. The noise in Amon's mind never stopped. Worries, what-ifs, memories that burned. Until one morning, he reached for his headphones before his phone. Instead of songs, he chose silence layered in soft, sound-lofi beats, ocean waves, Tibetan bowls. He closed his eyes. For the first time in weeks, his thoughts slowed. He had discovered sound therapy. He built a playlist of peace, not to escape, but to heal. The beats filled the spaces between fear and doubt. His breath synced to the rhythm. His heart rate dropped. The sound didn't change his life, but it gave him space to breathe, to think, to be. Chapter 7. The morning silence that screamed truth, no music, no phone, no talking. Aman sat at the edge of his bed, eyes closed, breathing slow. At first, the silence was deafening. Thoughts rushed in, regrets, worries, shadows. But he stayed with it in that quiet space. He heard what he had been avoiding, his own voice, not the loud, anxious one, the gentle one, the voice that said, "You're not as broken as you think." That moment of silence became a daily ritual. No distractions, just presence. And slowly, it became the most powerful part of his morning. Chapter 8. Riding the weight off every emotion Aman didn't say out loud, he buried. Until he started writing. Each morning, after his splash and sound therapy, he opened a journal and poured out everything. The shame, the frustration, the fears. It was messy, raw, unfiltered. But it was real, and it worked. Journaling helped him understand his inner world. Patterns appeared. Triggers revealed themselves. And most importantly, his pain lost power once it hit paper. Writing didn't solve everything, but it helped him survive his mornings. Chapter 9. Water before worry, before checking emails, before overthinking, before panic. Water. 1 glass. Cold, clean, deliberate. That simple act became sacred. Aman used to underestimate hydration, but he noticed it cleared his fog, eased his fatigue, and even lifted his mood. Paired with a few deep breaths, it became a signal. I choose health today. It wasn't about fixing everything. It was about choosing one thing right and letting that choice ripple forward. Chapter 10. The morning he became new. All mornings were victories, but this one felt different. Aman didn't rush. He didn't scroll. He moved slowly, intentionally. Splash, breath, music, journal, and by the time the sun touched his window, he felt it. Peace. He didn't fix everything. He didn't feel amazing. But he wasn't drowning. He had chosen, step by step, to show up for himself, to create his own calm, to become the kind of morning he used to wish for. And from that moment forward, his mornings were no longer about survival. They were about becoming. Chapter 10. Wake up to a better mind revisited. It was no longer about having a perfect morning. It was about building a strong one. Aman didn't need peace to find it anymore. He created it. He didn't wait for good thoughts. He trained his brain to think better. He no longer believed the lie that some people are just born calm. He realized calm is a skill, peace is a habit, and strength is earned daily. Now, when he woke up, his first thought wasn't dread. It was, let's begin with breath. with purpose, with control. He knew now, your mind isn't who you are. It's what you train. Chapter 11. The 10-minute morning recitation used to snooze his alarm 5 times. Those extra 30 minutes never helped. He always woke up groggy, anxious, behind. Then he changed one thing. He built a 10-minute reset ritual. 2 minutes breath work, 3 minutes gratitude journaling, 2 minutes setting an intention. Just 10 minutes, his entire nervous system calmed down. His thoughts slowed. His mood lifted. He finally understood. You don't need an hour. You need intention. Chapter 12. The power of no. In the morning, he checked his phone every morning, scrolling through texts. News. He didn't realize it was poisoning his day until one day he said, no phone for the first hour. He didn't die. The world didn't collapse, but his mind. It healed by protecting the first hour. Aman protected his focus. He became less reactive, more centered now. The mornings were his again. Sacred, quiet, empowering. Chapter 13. The breathing that broke the panic. He felt it rising, the tight chest, racing thoughts, dizzy head, anxiety again. But this time, he remembered a technique. Box breathing. Inhale for seconds. Hold for. Exhale for. Hold for. He did it, trembling, but it worked. His body slowed. Mind softened. Breath steadied. He wasn't drowning. He was returning. Since that day, box breathing became his rescue tool. A switch from chaos to control. He just moved. And that movement moved his mind to ... Train your morning. Transform your mind.